Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences, raw conversation, one destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. empty. What's yours for the taking tonight?
Hello. Hello. I'm feeling good today. That's a warning. I'm not kidding you. I'm feeling good today. I may not be all that matchy, but this is my robe for my dog nephew. I am his gunkle, and this is in honor of Pumpkin. Hi, how's everybody doing? Welcome to today's Hump Day edition of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Dr. Lauren, and I hadn't worn my pink in a while, so I put it on, and I think those are dragonflies. I don't get it. What is the thing with dragonflies? Anybody know? Put in the comments. Anyway, I'm happy to be here. Welcome my sidekick. She's my version of Ed McMahon. She's been here all 8 years. This is Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. Now, real quick, we're going to get our guests in here. We got a great show for you today. If you are doing anything that eases suffering in the world, if you are doing anything that is of service to people, if you are wanting to do something where you can pour out your divine gifts and they will be received in a big, big way, well, this is the show for you. That's right. Wait till you hear what we have for you today in the form of our guest. She's got something for you. Could change your life. That's what we're hoping for anyway. That's the bell of purpose. I ring it on purpose every day, all day, not just on the show, on my coaching calls, on Zoom calls. Anytime some truth is out there, you're going to hear the bell. Why? Because it's a reminder. This bell is a reminder that just like the truth, yep, this bell has a ring to it, and so does the truth. So lean in, tune in, take that goodness with you, won't you please? Because, you know, everything starts with the truth. Everything ends with whatever. But start with the truth, you got a better chance, right? Okay, so, there. Can I get one more amen? Okay, there you go. So look, you guys know it was our anniversary. My husband and I on the 14th, and his birthday's on Monday. It'll be the first time in all these years that I've not been home on his birthday. I'm heartbroken, but I'm headed to Seattle. Good things happening. Going there to take a look at a property with some people for Trajectory Television. So I'll tell you more about that after I get back. But look what I got from my husband. Should I take this personally? I'm sorry I slapped you. You didn't seem like you would ever stop talking, and I panicked. Don't worry. His birthday is Monday. I got something. No, I don't really. But if you have any ideas, put them in the comments. So, okay, let's get on with it. I don't have anything else to say. No other comment. Do we have any more? No, we don't. We have no more anything coming up that we want to talk about today, except this great guest. Now, she's a Canadian, but she lives in LA now. So she went to the big city of Lala. I used to live out there. Alenka. She spent almost 15 years in the corporate world. I bet she's got bite marks all over her, because you know how that is, right? So anyway, but she said eventually caught up with her. That's what I was talking about. She got burned out. And then a year later, she was recovering mentally when she tore up her ankle. Just one thing, and you know how that is. Geez, can I catch a break? But that oftentimes will lead us to what it was all about anyway. That's when it all comes together. And that's what happened with her. She said she realized that for those who have not found answers in conventional medicine, that finding solutions elsewhere was incredibly confusing. You think? My husband and I were talking about that just now. And it's not just the doctors. They're a big part of it, but you have insurance people, and then you have all of us who like to self-diagnose. I know what that is. Right. No, you don't. No, you don't. So anyway, what has she done? Through leveraging her skills that she gained over those years from designing and building software for others, well, she decided to pour all of that goodness into herself so she could help us. And guess what she's doing? Launching in December is, I don't know if I'm supposed to say Saha, Saha. I'm going to get her in here. She can tell you better than I can. So first time, put your hearts on the screen. She's never been here. She might be a little nervous, but she's a pro. Welcome to the stage, you guys. Virtually get to your feet by putting those hearts on the screen. When did you guys get here? 1 second ago it was 12 people. Now you guys are late. 667 of you. Come on in. Come on in. This is a blessed day. Get ready. Our guest is coming down the hallway right now. Yo.
Hey, I love that you had to throw how many people were on just to put the pressure on me right before I joined. I love it.
Oh, you can't see? You don't see that in the corner?
Oh, no, I don't see it.
Oh, I thought the guest always gets it. Sorry. Well, because
no, it's kind of nice.
We tried to break the record from a week ago, which I'm going to get that number because it wasn't on a Post-it note like it usually is every morning. But it's usually over 1,000. Yeah, they're good people out there.
I'm excited.
So, yeah, Alenka, how do you say your last name?
Kyslik. Alenka Kyslik.
Well, it's very easy. It just looks like it could go 1,000 different directions. Well, am I saying your first name correctly?
Alenka.
Alenka, like Sri Lanka, but no, not really.
I've never had that
Alenka,
comparison.
tell us, do you know the origin of your name and what it means? I love it.
Yeah, so my parents are Czech. They were political refugees back in 87.
Wow.
And so my name is Czech. It means light. Is what I was told.
Light?
Look that up again. Sorry.
Like the light or light on your feet?
No, like the light shining down.
Okay, yeah. Well, that explains a lot about you. Listen, I like to dip out for about 60 seconds and just give the guest a moment to, really just pour from your heart. What's on your spirit today? You're inside your divine purpose with this work. I know that much. And so why don't you just open up the door to that, and that'll give me what I need to come back in and get this interview officially started. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. I'm going to dip out. It's all you. I'll be back in just a minute.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here. This is such a blessing. I'm so happy for Dr. Lauren to give me the opportunity. So he mentioned it a little bit. I have a background in software. Been doing it in the corporate space for a long time. And I went through a lot. Burnout is the start. And so I pulled up the definition from the World Health Organization because it's I think it's interesting for everyone. So burnout by definition is feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, or feelings of negativism, this word is awful, or cynicism related to one's job. I don't know about you, but been there. Reduced professional efficiency. So I see that as one version. My experience was a lot of different things. My experience also included horribly grinding my teeth to the point where I cracked my tooth, and actually I've recently re-cracked it through the stress of building. And I had to redo my crown, which was awful. I went through a period of barely being able to get out of bed. I mean, if you've been through any version of that kind of drain where you've had such persistent stress for a really, really long time, you get it. You know what it's like. It's awful. Unfortunately, up to 80% of the US population has or will go through it. It's a really, really horrible thing. And there's not a lot of great ways to go about it because it's a really complex problem. There's a lot of things to help that can help, but it takes time. And it's one of those things that I like to say, if it took you years to get there, which it took me 7 years to get to the point where my body shut down, it's going to take you some time to figure it out, right? And to unlearn it. It took me about 3 years. So that's the short version of the story. But yeah.
Wow. And it's not a new story. It's all over the place. I have a ton of coaching clients that defected from the world of corporate, and some who are still in there getting chewed up every day. Yeah. And then not just corporate, to be in all fairness, a lot of solopreneurs, a lot of people I know that have nonprofits, anybody that is just go all the time. But I want to ask you, how many years did you spend in corporate? Because you don't look that old. You look really young.
Well, thank you. I'll take it. I also just woke up. So, there's that.
6 o'clock there.
6 o'clock there.
Thank you for this, by the way.
Yeah, no, of course. I started in the end of 2011, beginning of 2012. And it was, a mixture of different things. It started before then, though, if we're honest. When I started to unlearn what it was happening, I started to see, I've started doing this since I was probably a teenager in terms of the amount of go and not stopping.
So you're saying the burnout thing wasn't necessarily just because of the job you had. It was maybe a part of a developed or learned behavior.
Yeah.
And
Oh, for
that's
sure.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting because a lot of people, we point the finger at the thing that we're in, but
Mhm.
so that's really smart. I hadn't thought about that. Now let's talk about this business. SASH. Is that an acronym or is that a woo-woo word? What is it, and what does it stand for?
So Saha I was trying to find something that was easy to say, easy to pronounce, have not come up with an acronym. So if somebody feels like it, go for
Okay.
it. But my creativity is different in different forms.
Yeah.
It's a Sanskrit word that translates to together, endure, or connection, or in Arabic, it translates to health or wellness. And it was really important for me to find something that, had meaning, because I feel very strongly that we get through hard times together, right? As humans, we get through hard times in community, whether that's with a partner, with friends, loved ones, whatever it is, or coach, therapist, etc. We get through things together. So that's
Saha.
the word Saha. Yeah.
Saha. Saha. Okay. It just sounds very calming. Almost like you, because I thought you would be like it was some type of calming music or a space, but it does the job. Oh,
Yeah.
look, Robert. Good morning, Alenka Saha. Yes. So tell us now the business actually launches in December, just in time for the holidays.
Yeah.
Um, how's it going? And what stage are you in right now? Are you getting nervous? Do you feel like, a pregnant person who's like, having false labor already?
I mean, I have experienced a friend going through Braxton Hicks, and that she was pre-diabetic. It was a whole thing. It's more exciting than I, ever needed to experience.
Yes.
So if I compare that to what I'm going through, I think on some level, I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I know it is. And I know, to your point, it is very much what I'm meant to be doing. And I'm very excited about it. But sometimes I have to do a reality check to be like, oh, this is really, it's we're turning everything on in December. I'm working on the exact date. I don't if you've ever worked with software, it's kind of like renovations. You think it's going to be
I
a certain
haven't.
time, and then surprises happen, and things get delayed. So I'm saying December because I'm being a little careful to make sure I don't disappoint anybody, right?
Okay, explain to
Yeah.
everybody what it is Saha does, what service it provides. Because I think it's a brilliant idea, and I'm sure you're
Yeah.
going to be very successful with it. Fill them in on what that is.
Yeah. So my story, I try to do everything, the proper way, if you will, going through conventional medicine, et cetera. I wasn't getting answers. And then I did my own deep research. And in the end, my doctor literally told me, he's like, oh, you know your body better than I do. And I was like, I can't with this. Like, I'm about to throw something against the wall. Enjoy. Bon appetit.
Thank you.
And so using my background in software, what I'm building is a system for people who don't have who haven't found answers in conventional medicine, right? So if you've tried everything and you're like, I'm not getting anywhere, I'm still feeling some kind of way, and I'm not getting better doing what I'm, going through the conventional means. We have a matchmaking system that treats you as an entire whole person. So it looks at who you are, not just the symptoms that you're feeling, but where you're at. Like, are you just deep in like horribly feeling the symptoms and just need relief? Are you in a place where you're ready to look at the root causes? Are you ready to do the work? Because sometimes we're not, and that's okay. Sometimes we just need to feel a little better so that we can, have the energy to move on with our day. And so we look at that. We look at your beliefs. So if you're like more conventional leaning, so on our conventional sliding scale, we have like the conventional side is chiropractic, acupuncture, massage. And then on the other side of that sliding scale, we have things like Reiki, breath work, craniosacral therapy, right? And so not everyone's open to everything. So let's find something that works for you. We use that with matchmaking. You can include, if you want to, things like your religion, ethnicity, political views, and shared lived experiences. So if you're a parent, if you have ADHD, if you have some sort of PTSD, et cetera, we have a long list of that. Those are all optional. You don't have
all
to.
of those.
Yeah.
I
And
do.
we then match make that. We do a little, calculation, and we give you a series of providers. So different types. I call it modality agnostic, which basically means like we're not a therapist network. We're not just a network for coaches. We do all of the above. And what we do in that results page is we give you back agency. We give you back options so that you can see like, okay, maybe for me, therapist is the right choice, but maybe actually breath work is a good idea, or I like sound healing. We give you options and then you choose and you pick what's the best for you. But it allows you, when you feel like you don't have any options, to have options.
Well, right off the bat, what I am attracted to about this description is that, first of all, it eliminates a lot of the I don't know where to begin, the searching and the Googling and WebMDing and calling Aunt Clara-ing and all the other stuff, because that can be scary, especially when you get to you think someone tells you something and you go and watch a video about it or something, and then I'm just telling you. But then also I'm assuming, since you're a software developer, let's talk about this part, AI. You're using AI, I'm sure, to help get this right? AI doing the heavy lifting pretty much as far as how the matching goes?
So AI is expensive, and I am being very intentional about how I'm building this, meaning I'm what's called bootstrapping in the business world, which means I'm paying for it. It's like a fancy way of just saying it's coming out of my bank account. And then we'll be launching actually for this as a benefit to employers. And the reason I say this will make sense, is that if I don't go through the traditional investment route, I get to decide on the quality and the integrity of the product and make sure that it is still serving people, both the providers and the clients. I say this all to say, yes, AI will be a part of the full launch product. And one of the most exciting things I'm excited to build is a voice inputted system. So you will have the option to fill out a form, to book a session with a concierge, if you will, that like walks you through the process, or you would be able to record your voice and it would give you prompts to say like, okay, what are the symptoms that you're feeling today? It would automatically calculate. This is all in a closed system, right? Because it has to be the privacy and security is really important.
Yes.
And then it would give you additional prompts. So you could spend like 30 seconds talking to this thing, and then it would use the matchmaking so that is a big part of what I'm really excited to build.
Okay, great. So let me ask you this. I can't wait to hear this one, because I don't know how you looked at or walked around this particular piece. And what I'm getting at is, so when people say, okay, because we're going to role play here in a minute, just so people can kind of have an idea of what we're talking about, because it's not out yet and they can't really, get their hands on it, but we want them to start thinking about it. So let's say this, is this primarily for physical health, or does it also include mental health? Because, even though we think it's physical, oftentimes it's not. We can't find anything. Nothing's showing up. And it really is something else. And you mentioned PTSD, you mentioned ADHD, and those are all mental health modalities. So talk about that piece. How does it get a person on the right tab, so to speak, or the right page? Mental, physical, how does that work? How do we know?
Yeah. So we're focusing initially on burnout. Obviously, it's close to my heart, and it's unfortunately really prevalent across way too many people. Because like you mentioned, burnout isn't just from a job. It could be from being a parent, being a caretaker, all sorts of things, right? Like this is just continuous stress over a long period of time.
Yeah, it could be the traffic you drive through. I know people, can you believe this? My brother-in-law drives 3.5 hours each day, one way each. So 7 hours of driving for his job. He lives in another state and drives to his job and has done it for years. I'm like, I don't know how
the impact
in the
on
world.
his back, on his driving legs.
Girl,
like I can already feel my calf tightening.
I'm saying. So you see what I'm saying? There's all kinds. So talk about that though. How do you separate, you know what I'm saying? Because some of us
I know what
like,
you're saying. And
it's not this. And to get them to where they have the right choices. I mean, because what you put in determines what you get out, right?
It does. It does determine what you get out. But I think we often look at things in very black and white. Like, oh, like I can't turn my head because my neck hurts. Like I need to get a massage. And I'm not saying you don't. Like that's probably a good temporary relief. But if your neck hurts because you had a few hours talking to a really horrible boss today, it's just going to happen again tomorrow when you talk to them again. You know what I mean? Like I think oftentimes we like to be like, oh, like I just need, I don't know, people get like a shot of cortisol for like TMJ. TMJ, I am intimately familiar with, which is just basically grinding my teeth. That
a lot of people do that and don't even know it. It's because it happens. Doesn't happen when you're sleeping a lot too.
It often happens when you're sleeping. For me, it also happens during the day when I'm stressed, which we don't.
Did you know you were doing it?
No, I now feel the muscle soreness, so I'm aware of it afterwards. But in the moment, I never realize it.
So can you do it? Like, because when I see grinding, because I had a friend in junior high who ground, and you could hear it. So I'm wondering, did anyone ever go, girl, what? Why are you grinding? No one.
No.
So you can do it, so it's not even.
Nobody.
You can't even tell it's happening.
I mean, so I mentioned I have an Eastern European background. We're really good at hiding what's going on in our head and our body to the rest of the world. Like nobody, because, I'll come across and like, I'll be in a great mood and everything's good. And like inside I am melting,
We're spreading the word, by the way, no pressure. 1720 on the screen right now.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know. Hey. Well, when you say burnout, people are like, burnout? Because first of all, none of us thinks it applies to us.
Yeah.
It's always somebody else. Yeah. Right?
And it's crazy. Yeah.
So do you know the numbers? How many people on an average in the United States? I know you're Canadian, but you live here now. Was that part of your research? What are the numbers like for people dealing with burnout? Literally.
Up to 80% of the U.S. population, which in my mind is astounding.
How much?
Astounding. 80. Up to 80%. Mm-hmm. And that's just workplace. I was trying to find research and I couldn't find it on and we're doing selfies. I missed out.
Yes. No, that wasn't a selfie. That was on the screen.
Oh, that was on the screen. Okay, great.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was trying to do, because I know that burnout, like I have a lot of friends who are like young moms, or they're caretakers for their parents. That burnout, finding those statistics, if anyone can find them, please send them to me, because I was trying to find them and it's really hard. Masking. So we were talking about ADHD and autism. A lot of people learn to look and act a certain way so they're accepted by society. That takes a lot of energy and is exhausting and can lead to a form of burnout, right? Like it's just continued stress over a long period of time has an impact on our body and our brain. It's crazy.
So speaking of that right there, I'm sure, because when to go through what you're doing to build this, I'm sure you've had to look at the situation from all directions, top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, corner to corner. So can you share what are some of the worst case outcomes of burnout that you've heard? Of course, we're gonna have a heart attack and die from stress, but physical manifestations, some of the things like grinding teeth, I would have never thought that. So what are some of the other things that people might be missing that could be signs that you and me could be suffering or dealing with burnout, even if it's early stage? Are there early warning signs? That's another question in a question.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Okay, so I want to caveat this by I am not a medical professional. I am just someone who's done a lot of research.
We're just in here buzzing around.
I just want to make sure that no one's like, oh, she doesn't. I'm like, no, I like to research. So it can look like a lot of things. It can look like disassociating, where you're just like, there's one thing to rest at the end of the day and to put on a show or to read a book and just like, reset and then, go into sleep kind of, when you're like, I need to wind down. That's the word I was looking for, wind down. Yeah. So that's one thing. But when you're like, this is the only way. Yeah. And working is hard when you're building something to wind down. It's something I need to do more of. But winding down is different than disassociating, or some people call it like vegging out on the couch, just like needing to watch TV or play a video game. And it's not like I'm actively interested in the thing. It's just, I need my brain to stop. And so I am doing that. Right. Turn off. And I did it for years.
They should make it clap on. Wouldn't that be nice? But anyway, we'd abuse it. Go on.
Yeah. But so I remember doing this starting in university when I would watch TV shows for hours. And this was just like, I felt like now I know I was self-soothing. Now I know this is what my way of calming my nervous system and being just dealing with all the stress and like calming down. But then I didn't. I was like, why am I watching TV for hours? I felt like this is the only thing I could do. And that being said, in childhood, I would read books because TV wasn't as accessible back then because I'm not that young. But like, I would read books and like often fiction, escapism, you know, like great books, but I would sit and read for hours. And it was more acceptable, right? Because a book is education, which I agree with. And I still love reading. But when it becomes escapism, when you're escaping from your reality, that probably is a sign that there's a lot of stress and a lot of things happening in your life that you need a break from, which like that is modern living on some level, which doesn't make it okay, but that's what it is, right? Like we are working so hard that just to like pay the rent, if that, you know, and it means that this continued stress, like we need to give ourselves some grace for the state that it's putting us in, right? And we're often just hard on ourselves and like, oh, I just need to work another shift, or I just need to get this one thing done. But we never take a break. And then if we never take a break, it's just building on that stress over and over and over again.
Okay, so let's do a little role playing, shall we?
Sure.
A little hypothetical situation, just so we can kind of look at it in 3D, if we can, for the audience's sake. So I'm the person looking for relief. So first of all, well, wait, before we do the role play, I've got to ask this question because it's going to help me come in the right way. Do you believe there's a difference in, there is a difference, but how do you think about when you hear the difference between discomfort versus pain? Because, you know, discomfort is just like, it's there. I'm not really in pain, but I don't like it. Right. Is that right? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would say that. I think it's like, you know, I can't, there's a fold in the bed sheet underneath me. That's discomfort, right?
That's discomfort. You know? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because when people answer these questions, are the questions going to say on a scale of 1 to this and 1 to whatever, how much discomfort are you experiencing? Does it outright say, are you experiencing pain? What do these questions sound like?
What are these questions? Yeah, actually, we don't do the scale of that because I
okay.
don't know about you, but the scale of pain, like I literally, when I tore apart my ankle that one time, I wasn't in pain. The shock took over but my ankle was swollen. Like I walked into urgent care and they brought a wheelchair out and brought out ice because they were all like, you know, gasping. But I wasn't in pain because everybody's body acts differently around pain. I stepped off a curb. It was stupid. It always is.
Oh, my husband did that. And he paid for it for over 1.5 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So sorry, I got distracted. You said the discomfort and pain. So what are the questions? Sorry, that was the question.
So how does it work? So we log in, we go there, and I am looking for, let's say, okay, I need to figure out how to turn off.
Yeah.
How to turn off. Okay. No, I got an even better one because it's a real one for me. I kind of found an answer, but it could be better. Let's say I'm leaving for vacation. Because we do this usually the day after Christmas, my husband and I leave and we go on vacation, and it's usually a week, 7 days, but I'm not really baptized in the relaxation portion of the vacation until day 4. It takes me that long to decompress or let the air out of the tank. You know what I mean? Change the air in the tank. And so what if I'm looking for remedies? I want all 7 days of my vacation. Can you help me? Do you have anything that helps me get a running start, which is not, or a calm walking start to the beginning of my vacation so that I can fully appreciate it? Some people come home. How many times have you heard, Alenka? I need a vacation from my vacation.
Yeah, all the time. I hear it all the time. I do it. So
that's my issue.
Yeah. You're looking for somebody. Okay.
We're focusing.
So we're focusing on burnout, chronic stress, chronic pain, and chronic fatigue, because those are all quite interrelated. That's why we're doing all of them. Oh, my grays are showing. When it comes to chronic stress, we often just live in it. And sometimes living in it is just what we're used to and it feels safe. And so it's really hard for us to turn it off. I can say that.
Safe and normal to us.
It's become normal. So anything that's something that has happened for so long, it's normal, and your body considers it safe, even if it's not, right? Even if it's just like, well, I know this is the known, and the known, it can translate to safe, even if it's not. So it takes a lot of unlearning to do it. So let's say you came in, you would fill out the form. There's a few questions, and then it would give you providers. Those providers, I would say, could look like a lot of different things, obviously, right? I don't know what you put in. But what I'm thinking when you say this is specific providers, coaches, therapists that are like, okay, let's like work with you to learn how to be present. I'm not a coach, I'm not a therapist, but I've just spoken with them. And so let's learn to pay attention to our body. Like what is heightened about my body? Like maybe my shoulders are up. Maybe I'm tensing my glutes. Maybe I'm grinding my teeth, right? Maybe when you start to learn an awareness for your body in like how it's moving, but also like I can sense now anxiety. I can sense it in my body. I know what it looks like, and I have systems to deal with it 3 years later, right? This didn't happen overnight.
Right.
So everybody has a different way of feeling and being, right? You are a very individual person than someone else, even if everything presents the same way. What you need to be present and to slow down, which is what you're talking about, the relaxing, will look different than somebody else. It could be a lot of different things, right? And so you would be then matched with someone who would, maybe it is breath work. Breath work, I think, is like incredibly effective in a lot of ways personally, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's a somatic coach. Could look like a lot of different things. Somatic is just someone who helps you understand how your body's feeling and what's going on in your body. Like I said, the grinding of the teeth, the like shoulders holding. Some people, they'll have like persistent pain in like a certain part of their body that they've tried everything and nothing's helped. And somatics can help you kind of unlock and undo some of that.
So what's the system? Because there could be some providers watching.
Yeah. So the system, it's completely free to join, both on the client and the provider side. And that's really important to me because this is something that needs to be accessible to everyone. So the providers can sign up right now. I believe there's the link in the comments that you can go take a look. The clients, that's what's launching in December. So you can sign up to be on a wait list right now. And as soon as we go live, you'll be there. If you follow us on any socials, we have lives with our providers and they walk through all sorts of different really interesting things. So what is the system? What's the question? So the matchmaking system focuses initially on 3 things. So it focuses on where you're at in your healing journey. We kind of talked about that. I'm doing this because we have a graph. So do you just need relief? Are you ready for root causes? Doing the work, etc. And so we match based on providers who are experts in that, right? Like maybe you have back pain and Pilates would really help, but maybe you're like, I don't have the energy to do that. And so we give you like massage as an example, right? That's an example for that. So the healing framework is one piece. Another piece is symptoms. And then the third piece is that sliding scale or that value sliding scale. And so that's the basics of it. And then we do matchmaking based on time zone overlap. If it's a virtual appointment, so you're on the East Coast, you could be matched with somebody who's in Europe. You could also be matched late night with someone who's in Australia. So it just depends. We do the time zone overlap, and then we also do price range. So those are kind of like the core pieces. And then the optional pieces are what I mentioned before. So if this is optional, you can pick it, but I think it matters because we're all human and like, let's be treated as entire humans, right? Is the political worldviews, religious beliefs, ethnicity.
That's important.
They're important because if you have certain beliefs or certain background or certain experiences that are related to any of those things, and then you're talking to someone who doesn't get it, it's not going to feel good for either of you, right? So let's do that. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, because I happen, and I'm just saying this for everybody, and I ain't talking behind her back, but it is a thing. My family, my adoptive family, the family number 1 out of 22, you guys know the story, have been Seventh-day Adventists. Very particular, right. And here's the thing. This is why what she said about the religious thing is so important. I have a family member who suffered, and she's brilliant. She's in the medical field. She's brilliant with medical things, but mental health things. She suffered from depression for
most of her life. She said I just saw a clip she put out where she said 6 was her first time. She was on someone's podcast. And the thing is, though, but it took her decades to start looking outside of, I'll leave it at the feet of Jesus. Well, I'll just pray about it. That kind of thing. So is that what you're alluding to when you say people have, that's one of the things. It's a mindset. Mindset, right? Right.
It's one of the things. It's mindset. It's like, hey, like the way that for religious experience, for example, I also grew up very religious, and like, I mean, this is a whole nother conversation, but there are things about I'm just gonna say this really quickly, like when we just say, oh, like let someone else take care of it, whatever the someone else is, versus like let me believe in what my beliefs are, but also take responsibility for my own self. I hear a bell coming. There we go.
Jesus, thank you. Right.
Yeah. This is it. Like if something isn't working for you, you're the only one you're stuck with for the rest of your life. So what are you going to do about that relationship? Are you going to be as kind to yourself as you are to the ones you love? You know,
absolutely
like
right.
And so this is why. I mean, it's hard. Don't get me wrong. This work is hard. It is hard to unlearn. It is hard to change things. But my goal is to give people options, to give people back.
There you go.
You know, some control of what they're going through.
JB, fellow tuber, what did the aliens finally bring you back, man? I haven't seen you in a year of Sundays, not a month, but a year. I'm so glad to see you. You was there from the beginning of my career. Where you been, boy? Life is hard. Nothing is easy. You can say that again. Yeah. Let's go here, though. Let's go here. So now we're inside. We're inside the Saha world. When a person, now we've put in the stuff, and because I'm like, okay, well, how does she make any money? But I think I get it. So if I'm a provider and it's free for me to be on there, it's free for the person who's looking for me. But then if the referral results in us working together, that's when you get what's yours.
Yeah.
You know what I love about that? It wasn't about quit trying to put her business out there. No, what it was about is that's how you know the intention behind this work of hers.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people put value last most of the time and lead with the price tag. But I am a firm believer when you remove the price tag, it is now less the price, which makes it priceless, which the red carpet of value has no choice but to roll right out in front. So this is awesome because you're not saying you have to go here. I said go there. I am helping you discover and seek out options. You might find something you never knew existed.
Yeah.
And then you go and you work. I think it's brilliant. You're in the Philippines, JB? Since when? You moved back? Okay, look, we need to get on a call. So listen. So how many providers do you have right now? Last time I talked to you was a boatload.
Yeah. So we're over 100. We're targeting like about 300 for the launch. So that's exciting, or for the prototype launch. So
why are they I'm sorry, finish.
No, go for it.
Well, why are they saying when you started, because think about that first one, when you had no providers, and you're like, oh, okay, I got my first call. Hi, so-and-so, they're on screen or whatever.
Yeah.
Were you pleasantly surprised when they got it? Did you think this was going to be hard to convince people of?
No, I think a lot of providers get into this because they care about people, right? They don't get into this to make a boatload of money. They don't get into this to some get rich quick scheme. Like that's not what they're here for. Most providers are here because they've gone through something and they want to help other people get through it as well, right? And so when they see that I'm not here to, like when they're like, oh, you're the founder. I'm like, yeah, like I'm not like some salesperson. I'm not just trying to like make a commission which I'm not, because it doesn't cost anything to sign up. They hear my story. Everybody wants to hear my story, which I think is so powerful because they know that when you've gone through something and you're now using that experience, that means something, Yeah. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear about JB's mental health.
I know. That's why I put it up there too. Mental health is much better. And so, and let's use JB here. He left. He was, I think you were in Los Angeles, if I'm correct, right, JB? And an influencer. And now he's back in the Philippines, but he's being transparent here when he said my mental health is much better. So see, this is what I'm talking about. People all over the world. And see, this is a beautiful thing. What about that person in that rural area? What about the indigenous people who don't really have things right there in front of them? I think this is going to really open up just a plethora of opportunities in all directions for all people. So how are how many categories do you have so far? You have 100 providers. How many categories does that cover?
Oh my gosh, I was trying to, it's on the website. I think it's over 50. But the thing is, a lot of people are like, they do multiple things, right? They don't just do one thing. Like there's an acupuncturist, she does cupping, but she also does breath work and regular acupuncture, and she does health coaching and like herbalism. So that's 5 things, right? So it multiplies. And a lot of these, so we allow each provider to add up to 5 services that they provide, or 5 types of services.
Okay.
Because a lot of these people, they get so passionate, and then they see like, oh, this other thing can help, and this other thing can help. So a lot of these people are really like, I don't want to say overqualified, but like they'll list their credentials, and I'm like, dude, like that's a lot, you know? So they're, you know, I had a Instagram live yesterday with someone who's done private yoga sessions for 12 years, and her specialty is helping people through some forms of chronic pain, including helping people quit certain habits. Like she herself quit smoking through doing yoga, which I'd never heard of before, and I thought was amazing, right? It's a wide range of people. I actually want to get back to something you said about making this accessible. When we go live with the full version next year, it's a percentage fee off of each transaction. Like I said, it doesn't cost anything to be listed, but the percentage fee goes towards the cost of everything.
Yeah.
It's expensive. The 2% of that goes towards a fund, and that fund is available for people who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford services. Because I think it is a lot of 4-letter words, not okay that only the people who can afford these services get access to them. And so from day one, we're building in this Saha fund so that providers get to share, you know, their skills with the world, and they still get paid for it. Because, you know, it's not fair to ask these people to work for free, because if their quality of life is lower because they're not making enough to afford to live, their quality of service is going to be lower too, right? So we're building this into the system.
I think it's wonderful. I wanted to touch on this before we get out of here today. We got about a little less than 10 minutes left, so a lot of ground to cover. 2 of my most passionate lanes to serve as far as people are kids and the elderly. And then there's the third one. So I might as well throw that in, that middle lane, which is veterans. Because all 3 of them are underserviced, in my opinion. And so how is Saha set up? If a person comes there and they're looking for a pediatric type approach, I'm not looking for me, but I'm looking for my 7-year-old, or I'm not looking for me, I'm looking for my 89-year-old mother. You see what I mean? Is that going to be something eventually that is going to be able to be streamlined to help people get to where they need to go quicker?
Yeah. So we're focusing on the burnout generation, if you want to call it, millennials. But like, because I had to start somewhere, right? The adage is, do a lot of things poorly or do a couple things really well, right? So we're starting with a couple things, and we're going to expand from there, and we're going to do a lot of research. And so my background, like I said, is software. Believe it or not, a lot of this stuff is database, right? What I did is I looked up and I did a ton of research on who are the people most open to these types of things, and then what is their most underserved need. And you know what I found? And it made me so angry I shut down my laptop, was chronic stress, chronic fatigue, and chronic pain. Those are the most underserved needs for this community. And I was like, oh, we're just going to I could go on, but like, oh, it's just stress when you hear this from doctors sometimes, right? Like, and I get it. Like sometimes it is, but if you don't give them something to help with it, that's not okay.
Wait, and boy, aren't you right? I'm going to use this as an example. One of my coaching clients, but she's like a daughter to me, Tracy, and her son, Jordan, is a 17-year-old senior in high school. And since April, he had been dealing with some gastrointestinal issues, and all these doctors and all these tests and all these blood draws and nothing. It's in his head is what they're saying now. And I sent her, they didn't know this, see how God is, to Sanjeev Chopra, one of my besties, who is one of the top gastroenterologists. He's the chair of that department at Harvard, right? She sent him those files, and he was like, no. It is not in his head. Order this and da da da. But the thing is, not everybody can get to a Sanjeev Chopra. So what I love about this is it feels to me when I see it, and the universe speaks to me in images, right?
Yeah.
When I see what you're doing, when they show it to me in the Inspiration for Dummies book, for me, they break it down to little sketches. It's like you are dropping breadcrumbs, things for people to follow. Pick this up and it'll lead you closer. Pick this up, it'll lead you closer. And you're going to be very successful with this, but it just seems so, when I see it, it's like lines and stuff going everywhere. There's so much to it. I get why you had to focus on just the basics to get it going and then let it do it, or else you would have been so overwhelmed you wouldn't have even done it. Right?
Yeah.
So
I didn't want to do it well.
Yeah. What are you most excited about? And what would you like to see happen with this work, let's say in the first 5 years?
Oh, what am I excited about? I have so many things. I'm really excited to give people back a semblance of themselves, for them to find themselves again, instead of be this zombie version of themselves. Like, that to me means more than anything, because I have found, I was talking with someone, she's like, I can sense you're a different version. Like, you are a different woman than you were when you were going through this. And I'm like, yeah, I absolutely am. I do feel that. And I want other people to experience that, because it's so powerful. So what I would love to do, there's a few things I would love to do. There's a lot. There's more than a few. But what I would love to do is, with the numbers that we will have, right? I would love to work with people by choice. They can opt in or not, to be part of studies. Because if we're talking about 10,000, 20,000, 30, a million people going through very similar things, and we're walking them through similar protocols with the providers they selected, let's track the data.
Learn from it.
Let's learn from it, right? Let's understand how we can do better. Let's then publish that data so that people, first of all, can not feel alone. That's first and foremost. And we can start to do that through social media. But then let's compile the data in a way and work with universities to build these studies in a way that's really hard to do, because everything right now in the space is very compartmentalized, right? Like, it's kind of all over the place. And so that to me is like I've already started to speak with some people in universities about this, but to me, that's like one piece of it, because it just means that then we're like, oh, we have data. So for me, I want to do this to help people. If the success is part of it, that's nice, but it's not the real, like, the first and foremost reason I'm doing it. Right. And so that means there are other aspects of it that are more important, like making it accessible, let's learn from it. Let's build, let's evolve. Let's not just, let's make this a better world for all of us to live in.
You guys, we have a couple minutes left, and we have started scrolling along the bottom of your screen. That is the opt-in page. When you go over, you want to sign up, you want to go over and check things out. Perhaps you want to get on the wait list, or you want to consider being a provider yourself. Head over. There it is on the screen. It is also, like we mentioned earlier, thank you, Alenka, it is inside the top of your thread in your comment section. So you can go in and click over at the conclusion here in a couple minutes. But if you want to just go and swim in the waters of Alenka and just see, a little bit more about her, there you go. LinkedIn, it's there, and we'll drop that in as well. It's not there yet, but I will. As soon as we sign off, I'll drop it in personally. And I wanted to ask you this. This is kind of leading to your Jerry Springer moment, if you will. Let's say you hadn't recognized what was going on with you in the corporate world. Let's say you hadn't done what you did with your ankle. Because those things, what some people think were, they're curses. No. See, sometimes you get to the curse because it's the only way to not miss the blessing. You see what I mean? I'm listening to The Alchemist, believe it or not, at 62 for the first time. And there was a line in there that said, a blessing missed it becomes a curse. A blessing missed becomes a curse. And sometimes I think it's in reverse. It feels like a curse because the blessing is in there. You got to dig it out. You got to go in there and dig it out. It's never about just one thing. And the universe, God, spirit, source, whatever you ascribe to, trust me, they don't make mistakes. That's just what they do to keep our shit interesting. That's what they do. And so if you had not done those two things or experienced those two things, do you think you'd still be in the corporate world?
Yeah, Oh, I think I would be in it till I died, which, well, or, I mean, as an extreme, but like I would be in it until I retired. I mean, for those who have looked me up on my LinkedIn, I'm actually still working my day job because it costs money to build this, right? And
Sure.
you will quit soon, but I have to do both. Like I can't,
Right.
I'm not
But you can
independently
see
wealthy. I
the
don't have
finish
trust
line.
funds.
Right.
Like I'm an
It has a
immigrant.
whole,
Like,
you wake up and go to bed a different woman now that you have this divine purpose sitting
yes.
right there in the front row seats of your life. I think
Mhm.
it's just a wonderful thing. One last thing. What did your family and everybody did, the people around you that know you the best, or were they
Yeah.
excited when you first brought this up? And did you see people go, huh? Or did you hear them go, ooh, I can
It's
see
been a
that.
really interesting wild ride. So I was really scared, right? Because these are the people
Mm,
we care about the most.
of course.
I would say overwhelmingly, everyone was like, "Oh, this is exciting. I can totally see this for you. I'm so excited." The funniest reaction I think I got was from my dad, who was like, "Oh, this means you can live anywhere in the world, right?" And I was like, "Okay, that's not the point of what I'm doing."
What you
But like,
trying
I
to
guess
say, Dad?
I mean,
I
he
get it. I
gets,
mean,
immigration is hard. Like he understands that there's a lot of stress on me, but I just thought that was a really funny reaction.
yeah.
Like he's like, "Oh, you could live in Portugal or Costa Rica." I'm like, Okay, like that's
Well, I
not."
bet your parents are very proud. I mean, why not? I mean, especially with the story of why they came to do what
Mhm.
they have done. And I bet you the number one thing was to provide a better life, more opportunities
Yeah,
for their children. And so
yeah,
you're actually living out the dream that they had originally. And how can that not be a blessed thing? How can that
yeah.
not be divinely anointed, y'all? How? I just think it's great. Listen, hang out for a second backstage. I just want to chat with you for a second. Make sure I have everything because I know some people are going to be reaching in. Hopefully, that will be you, and you, right? Tell a friend about this, share it out. And we will most likely get Alenka back in the front of the year, Q1, so we can start seeing how it's going now that the doors are wide open, right? So
Yeah.
keep your eyes and ears open. We'll get you that too. So thank you so much, Alenka. Great job. What an inspiration. And boy, you should be very proud to reach for something that has no reference point. When you try to bring something to this world that has never been in this world, it can happen, you guys.
Yeah.
But guess what that means? If you are willing to believe you can bring something to the world that the world has never seen, you got to do what this young lady has already shown us is possible. And that means you have to get up every day and believe you can be a you that you've never been before. Do one and you've done the other. Take that with you. Get out of here. Don't let my screen door slam on the way out. And I promise, God willing, tomorrow morning, if I'm awake and alive, I'm going to meet you right over there on the front porch so that we can have yet another illuminated conversation right here on Bathrobe Moments. I'm Dr. Lauren, and I tell you every day, and I mean it, I love you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Have the best day ever. Great job, Alenka. Great job. Bye, everybody. See you soon.